Welcome back to Build a Mobile App in 2 hours. In this session, we're going to call a RESTful service to get the planet images. So to use the RESTful service and get the planet images, we're going to need to know the URL of the API. And then we can use a wizard that's available inside of OutSystems to consume that RESTful API. Some APIs have a single method or multiple methods. We're going to use just one of the methods that are available. So all we have to do is provide the URL and then test it. And when the response comes back, we can copy the response to the body area. So inside of the OutSystems wizard, we'll be able to do a test and then, given the response, copy the body and then complete the wizard. And what will happen is it will create the data structure to make the call to the RESTful API and bring back everything we need. And then we'll just change the name to make it a little bit more meaningful. So let's go ahead and get started. To consume a RESTful service, we'll need to go to the Logic tab. And inside the Logic tab, we have all of our client actions and server actions. And if we scroll down a little bit, we find our integrations. And here we have our RESTful integration. So if we right-click on REST, we could either expose a RESTful API, and in this case, we're consuming the RESTful API. Some APIs have multiple methods assigned to them, and some have just one. We're only going to be using one, so we'll specify a single method. And it opens up the Consume REST API wizard. For us to be able to work on this, really all we need is the URL. So we're going to be using HTTPS, and now we'll do www.reddit.com, and we're going to be using something called Tiny Planet, and it returns JSON. And if we go ahead and use the test, we can click on the test button, and by calling that RESTful API, we get a 200 success back. And if we look at the structure, there are lots of different parts to this. And as we look down, we do see different thumbnails and images with different heights. So all we have to do is copy this response to the body, and it switches us to the body tab. And by copying the response to the body is what OutSystems is going to look over as far as the structure, and then it will be able to create the data structure so that we can hold this in memory. So by clicking OK, we can see that it has created the Reddit API, and it now has Get Tiny Planet. So we're going to change the name here from Get Tiny Planet to Get Planet Images, because that's what we plan on getting back. And just to see exactly what happened as far as the data structure, if we go to Data, what we can do in Structure is we can see that Reddit now has its own data structure. And some of the image items are here. We can preview some of the pieces. So it was a fairly complex data structure. All of that was basically analyzed as far as the response was concerned, and it automatically created the structure we need to be able to deal with that response. So that's pretty cool. So now we have what is basically an OutSystems action that makes the call to the RESTful service and brings back everything that we need. So this will be able to bring back the images that we want. They're in a very specific area of the structure, but we'll be able to use it from there. So that's all we really needed to do in this session. Join me in the next session where we're going to use this response to go ahead and bootstrap the images into the rest of the data that we have for our planets.